In this video lecture, we'll be starting with columns with helical reinforcement. These are generally given for circular columns, as you can see here, and I have drawn this in AutoCAD. This is a 3D view of that helical reinforcement. So basically this helical reinforcement is for transverse. We are talking about the transverse reinforcement and not about the longitudinal one. And as you can see, this red color thing that is going around these are the longitudinal reinforcement, and that helical one is the transverse one. It is like a coil or it is like a spring. Okay, so it is seen that when we give this helical reinforcement, transverse reinforcement, the actual load carrying capacity of the entire column increases, and by how much? It increases by 5%. Okay, so we will have to make sure that we take this into consideration when we consider a column with helical reinforcement. So this is the outer concrete, okay, the outer one, and then inside the diameter of this outer concrete would be called as gross diameter, DG. That is how we will denote it. Then this is the helical reinforcement in red, what you are seeing. Now this is the plan view of this. I hope you understand, right? These are the yellow one that you see are the longitudinal reinforcements, and the inside portion, or the one that the helical reinforcement confines, is called as a core, the core of the column. It is also concrete only, but this entire core is confined by your helical reinforcement, or it is basically inside your helical reinforcement. So that core has a lot of strength rather than this outer concrete. Okay, the diameter of core would be called as DC, and it is taken from the outer ends of the helical reinforcement. So DG minus 2 times the clear cover. Now coming to clear cover, I would like to point out one mistake that I had done in my previous 2 numericals of columns. That is, the clear cover I had taken as 30, but according to clause 26.4.2.1 of IS 456, okay, 26.4.2.1, it says that the columns be whatever the exposure condition, the minimum clear cover or the nominal cover required for columns are 40 mm. Okay, so this is the minimum clear cover that you have to give to the columns, be whatever the exposure condition, even if it is mild or less than that. But when we go to more higher exposure conditions, now see, this is the minimum criteria. When we go to higher exposure conditions like extreme and all, then in those cases whatever is given in the clause, that you have to take, because in those cases the clear cover can go definitely greater than this value. Okay, yeah. So a core diameter is DG minus 2 times clear cover, that is understood. AG would be called as the gross area, which is pi by 4 into DG square, and AC will be pi by 4 into DC square, which is a core area. Now design steps for short column with helical reinforcement. First step is the same as we had done previously, that is to determine the size of column, and we assume a percentage of steel of rho g between 0.8% to 6%, because it is given in the clause. Now ASC will be rho g by 100 into AG. Find factored load PU from given load. If the load is not factored, then we need to find the gross area AG using the formula given in clause 39.4. and as I told you that when we use helical reinforcements, our strength increases by 5%. so this 5% is what we have to multiply that entire formula by 1.05, correct? If I want to increase something by 5%, I have to multiply it by 1.05. So the same thing is given here, that the strength of compression member with helical reinforcement satisfying requirements of 39.4.1 shall be taken as 1.05 times the strength of similar member with lateral ties. So this is that formula. PU is equal to 0.4 FCK AC plus 0.67 FI ASC. This formula, whatever strength you get from this formula, that we have to increase by 5%. So I will multiply the entire thing by 1.05. So 1.05 times this formula will be for a short column with helical reinforcements. Okay, this is not for any circular column. This is only for those short circular columns with helical reinforcements. Okay, so we can find AG from this, correct, by substituting ASC and AC as AG minus ASC. Then we need to find the preliminary size of column. Okay, then step 2 is to determine whether the column is short or not. Basically you have to prove that the column is short, and this we prove by slenderness limits. So we have these 4 slenderness limits here, and if the slenderness limit particularly falls in this region, then it is a short column. And for that, after that we need to calculate the minimum eccentricity, because here we are basically we are designing a column for axial load. Okay, so we are not considering it to be having a bending. That is why you have to see that this minimum eccentricity is less than 0.05 times d, because if it is greater than 0.05 times d, then you cannot use the formula that I had shown you previously. This formula cannot be used that time, because this is only for short axially loaded members. If this becomes greater than 0.05 d, then it will also have bending, so it will be designed as a uniaxial bending member or biaxial bending member. So this is the minimum eccentricity, Lx by 500 plus dx by 30, and it has to be greater than 20. And same would be for Ey as well. Then we check whether this minimum eccentricity is less than 0.05 times d, and if it is, then we can design it as a short column. Estimate longitudinal reinforcement. So from gross area we find the area of steel, and then we find the number and bar dia combination. We have done all these steps already in our previous numerical, right? So till now you might be finding that there is only one change that has happened, that is in the formula of PU. We have increased it by 5%, and rest everything till now is same as what we had done previously. Again, estimating transverse reinforcement, here's where the change exactly comes. So the diameter is from the same clause what we used previously. The diameter of polygonal links or lateral ties shall not be less than 1/4 dia of largest longitudinal bar, and in no case less than 6 mm. But according to IS 13920, minimum dia should be 8 mm. So we'll take this 8 mm. So dia of link should be greater than main bar dia divided by 4, or it should be greater than 8 mm. This was about the diameter, right? Now if we come to the pitch, that is at what spacing that helical reinforcement is going to be. For the pitch of the transverse reinforcement, we'll be using this clause 39.4.1, and consider this helical reinforcement only one turn, and the top view of this would look something like this, correct? Now the height that is required for one turn is called as the pitch. So it is the vertical distance between an entire complete turn of the helical reinforcement. Okay, and this entire thing would be used in this formula. So how we'll be using this thing, we will see now. The core dia is DC. According to this formula, what it says is the volume of one turn of helical reinforcement, that is the volume of this helical reinforcement, divided by the volume of core for the pitch, divided by, this is the core, correct? This is the core. So volume of this core for this pitch, that ratio should be greater than 0.36 times Ag by Ac minus 1 into Fck by Fy. Understanding? So this is the ratio of volume of one turn of helical reinforcement, that is the volume of this reinforcement for one turn, divided by volume of core of the concrete for this pitch. So this is nothing but cylinder, right? So pi by 4 into d square into this pitch would be the volume of that core. Now the volume of helical reinforcement, that will be pi by 4 into this link, the dia of the link. So area of this link into the total length of the link. So the total length of the link, when we see from top, it is nothing but a circle. When we see it from the top, it is nothing but a circle. So what is the circumference for a circle? It is pi into d. So this is the length of the helical reinforcement. This is the area of the helical reinforcement. So area into length is going to give you your volume. So volume will be pi by 4 into the link dia square into pi into dc. dc is the core diameter, divided by the volume of core for that height is pi by 4 into dc square, that is the area of this core, multiplied by the pitch. So it is basically the volume of a cylinder. This should be greater than 0.36 Ag upon Ac minus 1 into Fck by Fy. So in this formula, what all things are known to us is the dia of the link we had already selected in the previous slide. We saw that. So dia of link is selected. Core dia we know. Here also core dia is required. Ag we know, Ac we know, Fck we know, Fy we know. The only thing unknown is pitch. So what we can find from this formula is we can find the pitch required. Okay, and the pitch that you will get will be that it should be less than or equal to some value mm, something value mm. So this is how you will be getting the pitch from this formula, that it should be less than or equal to some specified mm. Next, the pitch is given in clause 26.5.3.2, that is the limiting criteria of pitch for the helical reinforcement, and this entire thing I have summarized here. So what this clause is saying us that the pitch of the helical turns shall not be more than 75 mm. Okay, so this pitch should not be greater than 75 mm nor more than 1/6 of the core diameter of the column. So nor more than 1/6 of the core diameter. So minimum of these two values will give you the maximum limit of this pitch. So your pitch should not exceed that value. And further it is saying that it should not be less than 25 mm nor less than 3 times the diameter of the steel forming the helix. So it is giving you here that it should not be less than 25 mm nor it should be less than 3 times the dia of link. So the maximum of these two values will give you the minimum limit of this pitch. Okay, so what exactly this thing is giving you is the minimum limit, and this thing is giving you maximum limit. And the pitch that we had already found in our previous formula, that should lie between these two values. If it is not lying, then we'll bring it down and make it to lie between these two values. When we solve the numerical, you will understand it. And the last step is detailing of transverse reinforcement. So let us solve a numerical now. Design an axially loaded short circular column to support an unfactored axial load of 1600 kN for an unsupported length of 3.5 meters. The end conditions are hinged. Use M25 and Fe415. Use helical transverse reinforcements. Use IS 456-2000 limit state method. So step 1 is to determine the size of column, and here first we assume a percentage of steel reinforcement. So I will assume 2% to be the steel. It should lie between 0.8% and 6%. And then ASC is 2% of AG. Second, find factored load PU from given load if it is not a factored load. So here it is not a factored load, plus it is not also saying that it is including the self-weight. So if it is not including the self-weight, we will have to include the self-weight. That is, we'll have to take 1% of this as a self-weight. And this I had also shown in my previous numerical, that when self-weight is not given, you have to take it as 1% of the actual load. So 1600 plus 1% of 1600 into 1.5, that will give me 2424 kilonewton. So this is my ultimate load, ultimate actual load. Third, find gross area AG. So since we are using helical transverse reinforcement, we will multiply it by 1.05. So 1.05 into 0.4 FCK AC plus 0.67 FI ESC. This should be equated to your PU 2424 kilonewton. So AG I will get here when I substitute everything, put AC and ASC value. I will get AG as 140,287.8347 mm square. This I will have to equate it to pi by 4 into dg square, where dg is nothing but your gross diameter. Because this is a circular column, right? So we will equate it to the area of the circle. That's it. So I get my gross diameter to be 437.4. I will increase it to 450 mm. So I am designing a column of 450 mm diameter. This was the step 1. Step 2, determine whether the column is short or slender. So this will be determining using the slenderness ratio, and for that we first need the effective length. Now the end conditions are given as hinged, and when the end conditions are hinged, the K value is always 1, as you can see here. Effectively held in position at both ends but not restrained against rotation. This is nothing but a hinge condition at both ends, and in this case the recommended value is 1 times L. So our unsupported length is 3.5 meters, so 1 into 3.5 is 3.5 meters. This is the effective length. Next, slenderness limit L effective by D, so 3500 by 450 is equal to 7.77, which is less than 12, so it is a short column. Fine. Now we need to calculate the minimum eccentricity. To prove that, we can use that formula of short actually loaded column. Ex minimum is Lx by 500 plus Dx by 30, and it should be greater than 20. So Lx is your unsupported length, 3500 upon 500 plus 450 by 30, which comes out to be 22 mm. We need to check this, that it should be less than 0.05 D. So 0.05 into 450 is 22.5 mm. So since this 22 is less than 22.5, we can safely say that it is a actually loaded column, and we can use the formula in 39.4. Step 4 is to estimate the longitudinal reinforcement. So we have our gross area pi by 4 into 450 square. We have the area of compression reinforcement, which is 2% of this, so it is 3180.863 square mm. For this area we need to find the number of bars and diameter. Let us provide 420 dia and 425 dia bars. So this is the optimum bar dia combination that I found. You may find more better optimum, but you should always remember that whatever you give, you should make your column to be symmetrical, and especially when it is a circular column, it should be symmetrical in all the ways. In X or Y, in all ways it should be symmetrical. So provided ASC is 4 into pi by 4 20 square plus 4 into pi by 4 25 square, which is 3220.1324 mm square. So it is quite near to it, and therefore the concrete area will be AG minus ASC, which is this value. After finding the provided or longitudinal reinforcement, we need to check the minimum steel, 0.8% of cross sectional area, so it is 1272.345. Then maximum steel comes out to be 6% of cross sectional area, which is 9542.59. So our provided ASC lies between these two values, therefore it is okay. And the minimum bar dia that is said is 12 mm. So we have definitely provided greater than 12 mm. Step 5, transverse reinforcement. So this is where the main thing comes for helical reinforcement. The diameter we shall choose from main dia bar is, I think, 25 is the largest one, so 25 by 4 is 6.25, and IS 13920 recommends minimum dia to be 8 mm. So we will use 8 mm link as the diameter of our helix, Okay, and I hope you understand when we say transverse reinforcement, I am talking about the helix. Okay, so the dia of helix is 8 mm. Next we need to determine the pitch. Now for determining pitch we have to use this clause of 39.4.1. So I'll be using this formula here, where DC is DG minus 2 into clear cover. Clear cover I am taking as 40 because it is given in clause 26.4.2.1 that for columns the minimum clear cover is 40 mm. And DC core diameter 450 minus 2 into 40 will be 370 mm, correct? AG will be pi by 4 into 450 square and AC will be pi by 4 into 370 square. So we have found AG, we have found AC, we know FCK, we know FY. Volume of one turn of helical reinforcement is pi by 4 into link square, link dia square, multiplied by the length of this, which is nothing but the circumference. So pi by 4 into 8 square into pi into 370. So this is your length, this is your area, and pi by 4 into 370 square into pitch. This should be greater than 0.36 Ag upon AC minus 1 into FCK by Fy. When I solve this, I will get pitch should be less than or equal to 52.29 mm. So I got a value of pitch. Now I have to see that whether this value fits between the limits that are provided by the clause. So according to this clause 26.5.3.2 D1, it says that my pitch should be between these, this is the minimum limit and this is the maximum limit. So 3 times the dia link is 24 and here 75 mm and 1/6 of your core dia is 370, so it is 61.67 mm. So here I have to select the maximum of this and here I have to select the minimum of this. So my pitch should be greater than 25 mm and it should be less than 61.67 mm. And the one that we had got by the previous formula was it should be less than 52.29 mm, right? So I will give a pitch of 50 mm. So it suffices all the criteria. If I give a pitch equal to 50 mm, then it is going to suffice this criteria, it is going to suffice this criteria as well. So I will give 8 mm dia link helical reinforcement at a pitch of 50 mm. And please note that your pitch should not be very small also, because that 25 mm criteria which is given, this one criteria, it is given because your aggregates should pass easily. Okay, and maximum aggregate size that we use is generally around 25 mm. So those aggregates should pass easily. Therefore you don't give very less pitch also. This 50 mm is fine. Now let us do the detailing. This is the gross diameter 450 mm. This is the helical reinforcement, 8 dia helical link at 50 mm center to center, sorry, not center to center, it is the link at 50 mm. Pitch, I think you should write here pitch because that makes more sense for a helical reinforcement. Then the core diameter is 370 mm. Then we provide 4 numbers of 25 dia bars and we provide 4 numbers of 20 dia bars. So you can see how symmetrically they are placed, and if you cut any cross section, it is going to be symmetrical from any side. So this was the detailing of circular column with helical reinforcement, and that's it for today's lecture. In the next lecture we will be learning how to design columns with uniaxial or biaxial bending. Till then, take care. Thank you.